Hey guys, Wages World here. It is February 8th, 2020, and come at you with the video here. Yeah, sorry it's kind of late here on this one. Yeah, my mouth is still really hurting today. But anyway, you guys don't want to hear that every time. I just gotta say thanks to Mike and Cindy. They've been helping me through this a little bit, and I really appreciate all the help they've been giving me. A lot of good advice, a lot of good suggestions to do to try to help with my pain and stuff. Been awesome. So give a shout out to Mike and Cindy over at Evolutionary Energy Arts. You guys should go check out their channel, guys. There's some good work over there. So, but anyway, we're gonna get into this. We're gonna start off with the virus, and then again, I got some pretty crazy captures to show you guys that Scott has made, I have made. I'm going to kind of put it together, and it's kind of through the past year or so, but it's been some data we haven't been able to really view until as of late, and I'll explain more here in just a few minutes. But we'll go into this virus thing here first. Okay, guys, we're going to start with these official numbers. You got about 35,000 people, and about 725 of them have passed. Okay, now it was updated about an hour ago. I'm making this video about 5:30 in the morning on Saturday, February 8th. But as you can see here, guys, you guys can scroll down through here and check it out. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this because I'm just going to show you the numbers. And there's a couple reasons. And the reason why is because I don't believe these numbers. I think these numbers are way low, okay? But I do think that we can at least derive some sort of a educated percentage out of this, okay? What I mean by that is, we have a percentage of how many people have gotten this compared to how many people have passed. So you take those two numbers and you get the percentage, and then if you just apply that percentage to a higher number, that can kind of give you an idea of what's actually going on. And I can show you stuff, and I'm not going to go into that conversation, but I can't. And I get emails every day now, show us what you got. I can't, guys. I wish I could, because if I did, they would just block the video and there would be nothing here, okay? Now, I promise you, I want to show it, and I do and I don't, because it's negative too. I hate it, but it is what it is. I can't show it because they will block my video. But yeah. So, and I got an article here I'm going to show you guys on this too. But I want to bring up something real quick. Now, first off, we got Japan's the highest international one that, highest amount of cases. They've got 89, and it says 4 of them have recovered. And that kind of struck me a little bit, because if you go down through there and look, Australia, 15, they've had 5 recover. Why is Japan having such a hard time having their people recover? Their number's way higher. So, what's going on there? But I just wanted to point that out. You guys can make up your own mind on that. And something else I'm going to bring up here, guys. We'll go down here and take a look at this map. But again, nothing in South America, nothing in Africa. That will change. Okay, I'm really confident that will. If it doesn't, great. Okay, seriously, I hope it doesn't change. But I do think that it will. I just don't think we have the data in for that kind of that area yet. I'm not sure. I don't see them taking any extra steps than what the rest of the world has. That's my point. Okay. Now, something else I want to bring up here too, real quick, before we go to this article. When this first broke out, the first thing my mind went to was the ghost cities that they had made in China, and some in Russia also. Russia has the ones kind of built into the tunnels and the mountains and stuff. And they don't make this a secret. They know, they say that, hey, we got 30 to, and it's like, I can't remember the exact number, but it's between like 30 and 50 cities they've got completely built in China. Nobody living in them. Okay, they're just ready and sitting there waiting. Now, people wonder why, right? And there's a whole lot of views on that. And most of us, including myself, we automatically think, well, catastrophe, right? Tsunami, this, that, earthquakes, EMPs, war, any of that, right? And now you can't live in your city, so we'll put you guys here. We got your back, right? Here you go. That's kind of what everybody was kind of thinking. Not that they would have your back, but that's just something that they would say to you. But take this in consideration. I'm seeing videos of them blocking, basically shutting cities down and not letting people in or out and all of that. Now, what if this has something to do with those cities? What if they're going to use this as an effort to funnel people into a specific region to control them better. I haven't heard a whole lot of people talk about this yet. I talked about it just a little bit at the beginning, but, about 2 weeks ago. Now, I'm not saying that this has anything at all to do with that. I'm just saying that I think that we need to explore that a little bit more. Because, what if they just come up and said, hey, this city is completely contaminated. We're going to block this area out. Everybody that's around it, go to this place we just built. And you'll be fine. And then they got you right where they want you. They've controlled you to that area. Okay? So that's kind of what I was thinking, but I'm not, again, I can't say that. None of us can say that for sure. But I do think it should be part of the discussion. So, let me take you over here to this article. Okay, guys. Again, this video, this was just, Scott sent this to me a few minutes ago. A U.S. citizen has now passed from this. Okay, the first one. So those numbers will change a little bit. And again, guys, I hate this. I really do. I mean, and you guys can read that for yourself. It says that the infection soars above 700, which means it surpassed the SARS death toll. Remember how people were freaking out about that? And now look at this. This has already surpassed it, and then it ain't done. So, what do we got to do here, right? And this was the Daily Mail. This is their article here. And again, and that's why I'm able to show this, because this is kind of it's not really mainstream, but it is a news article. And, yeah, guys, it's just sad. I don't even know what to say. It says at least 25 countries have now confirmed cases of coronavirus, including the U.S., where there are 12 people, It goes on to give you some numbers. Again, I think those numbers are bunk. I think they're junk. I don't think they're that number at all. And I think it's ridiculous that these people are trying to, do this. But anyway, so I did want to show you guys that. That is kind of a new development. It does make us understand a little bit more over here in the Western civilization, especially over here in the U.S., where we take so many things for granted that other countries can't. Okay? I don't think very many of us, including myself, could ever look back at a time and think of any of this ever happening in my lifetime. Ever being able to see this kind of a thing. I know I personally haven't, and I'm 45. We've been through stuff, but nothing like this. Okay? And I'm not saying it is full blown over here yet, but, I do think we need to pay attention. So, and we'll go on to the next stuff, guys. As you guys can see, another huge spike on the Schumann. Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty good duration. It's pretty good intensity. That definitely, my wife and my daughter came up to me and said, hey, Dad, my ears are ringing today. And I don't even talk about this stuff around her, just so you guys know. I don't. And so when she comes up and says something like that to me, I just, instinctively, I go to this now and look at it. And almost every time that happens to me now, guys, this thing is blasting. Okay. And again, people that don't know what this is basically the heartbeat of the Earth. The Earth has a base frequency it vibrates at, and this is what this is. This is showing you that frequency. Okay, it's showing you all the other frequencies too. Our base frequency is 7.83 hertz. Okay, let me get my draw tool out. Sorry about that. Right here. Okay, so anything above or below that, guys, below could be bad or it could be okay. Above could be bad or okay. I mean, it just depends on what frequency it actually is. They do pump this into the space stations and people that go underground for long lengths of time because it keeps them from getting crazy. Anybody that doesn't think that this thing has anything at all to do with your mental health or even your physical health, you'd be doing yourself a favor by doing some research on this. I've talked about it at length. Multiple other channels have talked about this at length. I mean, lots of channels. Mike and Cindy over Evolutionary Energy Arts talked about this a lot. There's multiple others, guys. I mean, just everybody pretty much now talks about this at least a little bit because it is scientifically proven that this thing does affect us. Hence the reason they pump it into the space station. Okay. If not, they used to think that was called space sickness. They would go crazy. Okay. But when they started putting these frequency machines and putting that frequency out there, it immediately got better. They didn't have any issues from then on out with that. So, but I did want to show you guys this again, guys. Looks as though that we're not seeing any stripes right now. Remember the stripe signatures we were seeing that were kind of going across here? I don't see any of that right now. Okay. And again, the stuff that we've seen before like that, when we don't see it like that anymore, that almost tells you that that was not a tool flaw. Okay? Because it's coming and going. There's nothing symmetric. There's nothing that it's repeatable or anything like that. Okay? Now, again, I have to mention this too. If you guys were to look at this a couple of years back, hardly any of this would be showing except for this faint green line that goes right there at 7.83. Yes, we would get spikes back and forth every once in a while, but nothing like we see today, guys. Okay? Past year or so. You see how everything has grown outside of that. I mean, even just the less intense vibrations, like in this green area right here, you can see how this one right here, and I've talked about this before, that seems to be staying there now. It's more consistently there than it isn't. So, you know, there's a lot of theories on what that can be. I'm not going to get into that right now, but, you know, and, you know, when we see, you know, space weather, earthquakes, all that kind of thing, we always wonder, you know, did that have anything to do with the Schumann, or did the Schumann have something to do with it? Okay. Did the earth vibrate in a certain frequency, causing some of the other stuff, or did the space weather cause the earth to vibrate different? Or earthquakes, all that kind of stuff. What came first, chicken or the egg type of situation, right? And I don't have a good answer for that. All I can tell you is this thing is off. And if you're having ringing in your ears, headaches, any of that kind of thing, you know, don't disregard going to the doctor or anything, but take this in consideration when, you know, also. It all plays together. Okay, it's just one piece of the puzzle, one part of the formula. So, yeah, we'll go on to the next thing. I got some really cool captures to show you guys here in just a second. Okay, guys, space weather. Right now we're in what they call unsettled conditions. This is the same data that we see over at NOAA. This is just in a different visual for those that watch my channel. I've shown this before, but I actually prefer this one. So right now we're at a 4 kp, which translates to G0. In other words, no storm level. Now, if that kp gets to 5, that means we will be at a G1. Okay? Again, it's just like a thunderstorm warning system. Watch to warning, tornado watch to tornado warning to tornado emergency. Okay, that's kind of how it goes up. This steps up the same way. Okay, when it's more severe, obviously the number gets bigger. But what's a G level 1 going to do to us, right? Well, one of the biggest things we have to take in consideration is earthquake uptick. Okay, that's going to be a lot of it, and that's really with the G level 1 storm. Now, we might see some small power issues, most likely not, but maybe, especially up towards the poles. Auroras will usually get really bright. They get long lasting, and they actually will kind of creep down in what they call mid-latitude, which means it's getting closer to the equator. So if you're in the southern hemisphere, it would actually be going north, and if you're in the northern hemisphere, we would be talking about how far south you are. Now, to give you guys an idea, I think one time it was recorded that they seen some auroras really close to the equator. Now, back then, it probably didn't really matter to them a whole bunch because they were not so dependent on electricity. Today, we are. If there ever comes a time where we're going to see auroras at the equator, you might as well take most of your electronic stuff and just toss it in the ocean. Because that's probably what would be happening. The lines would get fried, all of it. Like the Carrington event. I've talked about that before. You guys should go research that. It's a very interesting story anyway. But go check that out. So anyway, that's what's going on. Now, you know, again, guys, we see these spikes. They directly correlate to the rise in our geomagnetic activity level. Okay? Now, then we also talk about electron flux. Now, electron flux is telling you that, hey, there's a baseline here So anything above that or below that is a flux. It's the difference between normal and where it's at now, whether it's high or whether it's low. All right, obviously, if it's a higher level, then we're getting more electrons, or if it's lower, then we're getting less electrons. All right, and obviously, we're talking about magnetism and electricity here. And just so everybody knows that they don't have a basic understanding like what electricity actually is, because believe it or not, guys, electricity acts a lot like water. You know, it tries to find the least resistance path to ground. That's pretty much what it does. And water tries to find the path of least resistance also. That's just what it does. So electricity and water actually kind of act the same way in a very basic way. Okay? That's also why they use certain metals and stuff for your wires. Okay? In your house. Because certain metals and stuff, they're able to give an extra electron and cause that flow. It keeps jumping from the other. It's flowing from one atom to the other. That's what electricity actually is. Okay? Just so you guys know, I haven't said that in a while. I thought maybe I'll throw that in there. But anyway, there's your space weather. There's not a whole lot. You know, again, we might see some uptick. Now, I will say this. Okay, I did say that this was probably going to happen, and it actually did. You see how we're kind of tapering off now? Remember, I said we're probably going to get like a day, maybe 2 days of wall period, and it's going to come right back up. I do think that that's probably going to happen. And, you know, like I said, we was going to have an extended period of time. We were going to have some sort of a solar event right here, and we are. Solar wind event. It lasted like 3 days. It seems as though it's starting to level back out and get pretty low. So, yeah. Okay, guys, I do want to show you this coronal prominence. And the coronal prominence is basically just an active area of the sun that is not officially a sunspot yet. These prominences can actually be very large in area-wise. Okay, so yeah, and they stretch out off the surface pretty good ways most of the time. And again, these prominences can be very large, even compared to a sunspot. Sunspots can be real small, and so can these prominences too. But that's what this is. This is, unless they've changed the official status of this. I don't know that they've actually given it a sunspot number yet. They could have. I haven't looked. But regardless, it's an active area on the sun. It is. What's good about it is it's rotating off of the Earth-facing side. So, you know, the further away that can stay from us, the better off we are as far as getting some sort of a CME or a solar flare. So, but I did want to show that to you real quick. Okay, guys, I got you over here at Sechhi. All right. Now, guys, we haven't been able to see anything on Sechhi for months. The site went down, and I'll go into more detail on why and what, and actually how the data is still there. We just had to figure out a way to look at it through using software that they, basically at first they didn't even tell us that we needed to get. We just assumed they were going to put it back up the way that it was, and they didn't. So what's going on here, guys, is we pay for these things with our tax dollars. That's why we're able to access the data. We're supposed to be able to, okay? Now, this is their way around trying to keep everybody from seeing this, is what I'm trying to say. Or just being able to use this tool at all. We used to see so many things, and anybody that's been with my channel for any length of time knows this. I used to show this all the time. Almost every video I use something from here. And we can't do that anymore because they changed it. They changed all of it. And again, I'll go into more detail with that later on. But this is a video Scott had made and sent over to me. He ran it through his upgraded software. And he did a live stream on this yesterday that everybody should go check out. Okay, he's going to explain it way better than what I can. Okay, because obviously he's been into this a lot longer than me. And he's able to see and understand things that I couldn't right at the beginning. And so, anyway, this is what this is. Now, this is what we're talking about. Okay, and I know your eye is probably drawn straight to this. Okay, to give you guys a little reference, the sun is here. Okay, this is coming from stereo A. Okay, so the Earth is actually over here, and this isn't to scale. Okay, now you remember the flash I showed you guys yesterday on my video? It came from SOHO, that satellite SOHO, which is right here, looking at the sun. Stereo A is this view that we're seeing right here, and it's over here looking at the sun. These two satellites that are extremely far apart from each other, millions of miles, had the same flash. Okay, so something happened, and it didn't come from the sun. I showed you guys that yesterday, and this even confirms it even more. So I'm going to let you guys run through this. Now, again, this is just, it's either Venus or Mercury. I can't remember which one. And that little loop that you see, that's very normal on this camera. It's because of the angle and stuff. And it's like what they call Birkeland current. And I'm not going to go into detail what that is. But just know that that's normal because of the angle that it's at. And all the other stuff that's being seen there. So I'm going to play this through and let you guys see it. And I'm going to leave you a link to Scott's video. Now, I got something on the end of this I want to show you, too, that it was stuff that I was able to find. I did a video on it like a year ago. But this right here is Core 2, guys. We don't use this hardly ever, even when we had the opportunity to do so. And the reason, this is Core 1, I think. I can't remember if it's Core 1 or Core 2. Anyway, it's Core 1. The pixelization sucks, okay? It's really bad quality capture. That's why we don't use it. All right, but it is able to show you flashes. Okay, keep in mind, this is on stereo A, and do you see that flash? It was just like the one I showed you yesterday. So something was happening, okay, out there, and it was a bunch of energy come from that other direction. Did not come from the sun. At least in my opinion. Okay, I do think, and like I said, you're going to see this basically this object over here. I'm going to pause it here because, and again, guys, go watch Scott's. He explains it way better. It's still there. It's very faint right there, but he's able to draw it in a little bit better. This is the one I showed you yesterday. See that flash? So there's that. Now we'll go on to, these are stills. Now you see this. Okay, that shows it really well. Now, Scott explains why this looks like this thing. You could see through that object up there. I'm not going to try to explain it to you guys other than to say that this thing is not see-through, and what you're seeing there is probably charged particles. He definitely goes into it a little bit deeper than what I just did, but this video is kind of going long already, so I want to, don't want to keep you guys too long. But there you go. I'll show you that part. Now, I'm going to show you what I have to add to this. Okay, now this is him right here, okay? Obviously, the sun on this one is actually over here. So the object's here. Now it's coming from the same camera, the same tool, but they flip this 180 every so often so it doesn't get worn out on one spot and get too damaged. Okay, remember, these things don't have an electromagnetic field like the Earth does to protect it. It's out there just getting blasted. So, yeah, so that. Now we'll go on to, okay, again, this is just another view of that same one, just a different filter. Okay, and then this one. Now, yeah, wow. But you can even see texture and stuff on this one. Okay, yeah. Again, go watch Scott's live stream from yesterday. It was on point what he was saying. And here's the other one. I think this one was in 2016. And then this was 2017. And we're talking about this up here. Okay. He did a good job with this software and stuff, man. I mean, it really brought some stuff out and was able to really make them look really nice. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get you to mine. Okay, these are what I captured. I actually did a video. You guys can go back and watch it. I can't remember what day I did it on, but it's been almost a year ago. But you're going to see like a hazy look right over here. Now, this is from the same Sechhi satellite. This is just a different tool on that satellite. It's the black and white like we look at on Soho. This is why we like this, because we can see a whole lot of things. So I'm going to hit play. You can see that kind of haze up there. I know it's kind of hard to see on this one, but see it right there? Right there. See it kind of, and you can almost see it rotating, but check this out. Look at this. This is 2019. February 25th, 2019. Look at that. That's just crazy. But yeah, you can see it rotating, guys. Okay, I mean, I don't know that, I don't know that it gets much more clearer than that. I mean, so yeah, I mean, the sun's over here, like I said, And here's, this. What is it? I'm kind of at a loss for words on this one. But yeah, I mean, it makes you want to do something like this. Yeah, like that, right, guys? Like, what is that? But anyway, guys, I am going to end it here, guys. God bless. Hope you guys got a laugh out of that. Yeshua saves, and you can drink this Kool-Aid. Go check out Scott's video, and thanks again to Mike and Cindy for helping me with suggestions on what to do for the pain in my mouth. Their suggestions worked really well. Awesome. I mean, awesome. Really did help me. I feel a lot better after taking and doing what they suggested to do, and man, good stuff. Thanks, Mike and Cindy. Scott, right back at you, brother. Here it is. Guys, go check it out. I'll leave links, guys. God bless. Yeshua saves, and you can drink this Kool-Aid.